Hermon, Enabling People to Care About Web Accessibility, a story of slow but sure cultural change.
It's so nice to be here. First of all, big shout out to everyone organising the event and also to our amazing interpreters. This is Kerry. Big shout out to everyone on the team doing that. Really appreciate it. Just screen's gone blank, but here we go. We're good. This is the worst part of talking, is technical difficulties. So I want you all to imagine with me. I want you to imagine you turn up to work one day and on your desk is a massive boulder. You can see it, no one else can see it maybe, you're aware of it, maybe others aren't aware. So on the screen here we've actually got a picture of a very large boulder and someone sitting next to it looking a bit overwhelmed. So where did this thing come from? Why is there not a bunch of people standing around your desk saying, whoa, what is this thing? What are we going to do about it? So for today, how does this feel? Does it feel annoying? It's on your desk, you need that desk. Right? Does it feel overwhelming? Does it feel like an impossible task to move this thing? It's a massive boulder. Right? So now I want you to imagine that this boulder is just something that you want to change. How are you going to go about it? You want to move that boulder. As far as you can see, it's not going anywhere, right? So for today, the boulder represents the current state within your organization of how much accessibility is just part of a daily life, part of the culture. And this is a talk of slow but sure positive cultural change for you and for your organization. It's about enabling other people that you work with to create this positive change and to create long-lasting change. So you don't want to go to all the effort of moving this massive boulder, however you're going to get that done, and then come back the next day and it's there again, or the next year and it's there again. Yeah? So on the screen, we've got a boulder in 3 states of being chipped away at. We're going to have this visual metaphor throughout. I'll allude to what's on the screen when it's important. Some of them are decorative. But yeah, imagine a boulder. We're going to work with others to chip away at this boulder over time and transform it into something, positive transformation. So who am I? Maz, I've just been introduced, so I don't really need to cover that. TradeMe has been introduced, but I'll go further to say we've been around for about 20 years. Over that 20 years, we have not been leading the way with accessible products, creating accessible products. And so this is not a story of shiny example of success and the easy steps to get to the perfect situation. This is a story about being in the trenches. It's about going from this overwhelming state of how am I going to do this, and then working with others to start to chip away at that boulder, start to create that positive change. And it's tips for you. I'm hoping that I'll give you enough good takeaways. You can write these things down and action them. So for the past 5 years, we've been rebuilding our large website into a single page app, trying to bring it up to more modern specifications, modern development techniques, responsive and whatnot. And this is where we've made our progress. So as we're rebuilding, we've been able to start to make more progress with making more accessible products. And it's something that's going really well. We've got a very long way to go, but it's going well. And I'm here to share some tips that we've learned and failed with along the way. So based on real experience, I'll try to only stick to that. And the goal of what we're trying to achieve is to make accessibility just part of the way we do things around here, which is how some people describe culture, the way we do things around here, right? So that's our goal. So I might ask you questions throughout. This is really just a time to ponder how this relates to you, maybe jot down a note. Welcome to respond in any way that suits you. So I imagine most of us are going to leave Alley Camp. On the projector, we've got 2 people just pushing away at this boulder, not necessarily with much success. I imagine we're all going to leave Alley Camp with a whole bunch of new enthusiasm, right? We've just heard some great talks, we've been to some great workshops. You get back to work, and the reality is you're going to have to put in a lot of hard work to translate that into positive change with your teams. It's not just going to happen overnight. You don't just come back with the new information, everyone says, oh, I didn't know that, now I know. Now everything's better. It's going to take hard work, and it's good to acknowledge that up front. It's going to take a long time, potentially. I've heard it said that for a large organization, 3 to 5 years is how long it takes to change the culture. So don't be too excited about overnight success. And it's not a one-person effort, and it's not even a one-team effort. From my experience, we want this to be like a wider company effort. You may have teams and individuals putting in more work, but it's a wider company effort. So I quickly want to cover off power of early supporters. So in the imagery, there's a few more characters that are turning up to help now. One of them's got a pickaxe. Yeah, if you get back to work and someone's already doing some of these initiatives, just jump in and help, because you may not know how important it is that those early supporters come in and just start to make that cultural change. Don't just think it's taken care of. So we're into step one. There's sort of 7 steps we'll cover. Step one, and this is on the projector, going from general awareness to action-based accessibility champion, like we've been hearing about. I used to call this complainer, going from complainer to champion. My wife told me that's a bit negative, so I changed it up a little. But that's how I related to it, because I was complaining to myself. So do you hear or say, no one cares about accessibility around here? Is that something anyone can relate to in the workplace? Or perhaps, hey, why is no one talking about how inaccessible or uninclusive this work is that's about to go out? So I used to say that, our team used to say that as we were building the start of a design system component library. And we didn't have the maturity to think at the time, hey, it shouldn't be, why is no one caring about this? It's like, how do we enable other people to care more about this? How can we increase the quality and frequency of the conversations that are going on around here to create this positive change? So after a while at that complainer stage, that general awareness stage, it sort of dawned on us that we could be doing more to work with other teams. And maybe people didn't realize that they could or should be working in this way. We could help them with it. Now, one thing it's good to point out, there's usually no shortage of opinions about how we could be building websites better, right? Anyone in the industry will know that is definitely the case. And so if no one's talking about this, then it's obviously not important, right? Or just taken care of. So if you put something in for code review and you get 100 comments back about how it could be better, or if you put something into design review and you get 100 comments about how that could be better, but none of them are about accessibility and inclusive design, what does that tell you, right? It needs to be something that's being talked about at work, like we've been hearing about. You expect it to come up there, especially if you're a junior. You just take that as a sign that, okay, I don't need to know that because it's not a requirement. My peers and people ahead of me aren't telling me that I need to be better at that. So start doing that. And the big thing here is, we'll get to the key takeaway at each section, but if you can realize that it could be better, if you can see a gap between how you expect things to be and how they actually are, then you can see the boulder, you can be aware of the boulder. That's your opportunity to do something about it, right? Not everyone has that opportunity because not everyone is aware that there's a problem. So this is the stage where we actively started sharing knowledge throughout different teams and went from that complainer to champion. So this is our point where we're going from general awareness to fledgling accessibility champion. On the slide, there's now someone standing next to the boulder with some kind of tool in their hand. They've got a smile on their face. They're feeling a bit better. So step one takeaway, I'll try to do all the takeaways so you can write this down if you need. If you can identify a problem, then do something about it because you're the one with the opportunity to make it better, right? So step two, really quickly, don't wait for permission to do this. A couple of examples. If you're writing a blog article for work, do you say, I just need the extra time so I can spell check it, or I need the extra time to re-edit it to make sure it's going to have the most impact? Or is that just part of doing your job properly? If you were building a house for someone, do you have to call up and say, I'm using the big screw for this particular job because it needs to be stronger in this way? Or do you just use the right screw for the job because that's part of doing the job properly, right? You're the professional doing the job, you know what to do. Can you just change your perception of what is required from you and use that as your permission? It might be too much to ask teams to just change the way they're working right away, but you don't need to ask permission to start teaching them things then, right? Do what you can right away. Don't wait for it to come from above. So step two takeaway, instead of asking for permission, can you just change your perception of your current role and just get started? I know I don't have a lot of time for what I want to cover, so I am going to move a little bit fast sometimes. So step three, so putting a groundswell and leading with others, including people who use our products from any position in the company. So you don't need to be a tech lead, you don't need to be a design lead, you can lead from any position. It's different from management, right? So in the imagery, you've got someone now standing on top of the boulder. There's more people coming to the party. Maybe there's some communication going on there. So what were you waiting for? What are you waiting for now? Would it have been good if someone sent you a message and said, hey, we're catching up on Friday to talk about accessibility in the something room. Come along. Or, hey, we're sending out a survey to see how much you know about accessibility already. What are you waiting for someone else to do, right? That's the opportunity. You can do those things. If you think, what would it be good if someone else did right now? You can write that down into a list. You could put that on an effort versus reward map, or you could just think, what's one thing out of here I can do right now that's going to make a positive difference, and just do that. So I'd like to suggest, well, for us, that was like a Slack message, right? That's an easy thing to do, or whatever you use for your internal comms. Just send out a wide company message. It might go something like, hey, did you know around 1.1 million people identified as disabled in 2013 in New Zealand? This got me thinking how we could be living our company values more while also ensuring we're making it easy for people to spend their money with us. And it led to me finding more about usability, inclusive design, accessibility. Who's keen to catch up later this week and talk about how we could be doing better for our users and ourselves? I'll bring the cookies, or let me know your dietary requirements and we'll sort that out. So what I'm aiming for there is something to capture attention, tell them something they didn't know, reference the company values. The company has put work into deciding what's important to your organization and captured those in values. If you can reference those as you talk about accessibility, then you're already showing how this relates to the company's priorities. So yeah, ride on the coattails of that important work that everyone's already bought into. For me, I'm in a commercial environment. It pays for me to reference commercial opportunities as well as the ethical arguments all the time because I want to get everyone on board. And if I can do that, which we're going to talk about later, then that's the only way to get everyone bought into helping with moving the boulder. So in the imagery, we've got someone chipping away at the boulder now. So slowly progressing, right? Yeah, so what's your message? What are you going to send out to your company? And what makes it relevant to your teams? So better yet, just start a whole comms channel to have daily chatter, right? If you've got a thought about accessibility you want to share with other teams, that's got to be easy. Oh, I'll just post it in the accessibility channel. So if you don't have that, start it right away because I can't imagine us not having that. Just daily chatter between the whole company. Doesn't need to be just web accessibility. It could just be accessibility in general, even if your team is web or native. So they can include physical, whatever. Yeah, your message, you need to send this out wide. Don't just be like, oh, I'm feeling a bit shy, I'll just send it to my squad. Or, oh, I'll just send it to my role, my discipline. I'll just send it to, I'm a dev, so I send it to devs. Or I'm a designer, so I just send it to designers. Go wide. You need people all around the organization bought in. That's the power of that network. Different people, different influence, different contexts. You all need to come together and make this happen. Do that early. Don't wait to go wide later. We did that to some degree, and I think going wide earlier, that's my big tip for you. So you might use that comms, whatever emoji responses or replies you get from that, bring those people together and talk about, hey, where are we at? Where could we be? What do we need to do to move towards that direction? What's one achievable thing you can all commit to doing in a short time frame, right? Because that's what's going to actually happen. For us, it was 5 to 10 minute talks. Hey, UX team, you could talk about stats. The Stats NZ put together the last real disability survey was 2013. But maybe you could get together and talk about those stats and help people understand the different types of disability and how they relate to our users and what the percentages are for New Zealand. That can really help people to understand it's a much larger group of people than they had realized, larger group of people that are affected. Yeah, and we had a designer come and talk about the visual side of things or layout and how that affects focus order and things like that. I talked about quick wins for front-end devs. What are some of the basics, bread and butter stuff that you could be doing already without any specialized knowledge? Just stick to your foundational knowledge and get some wins. So what could you do? Bring that group together and think, what's the first easy thing we could do? So step 3 takeaway, reach out wide. I should have made that pretty clear, but go wide. Even include exec, don't exclude people from the opportunity to be part of this. You want to get that small hub of people, share the knowledge. You're focusing on awareness building at the moment. So step 4, going from a groundswell to interdisciplinary wider company involvement. So on the screen, it's coming up. So you can see that. On the screen now we've got people chipping away at that boulder more and starting to actually carry it away somewhere. So it's being more people coming on board, seeing some new faces, working on that thing and carrying it away. Not sure where it's going yet. Yeah, so you've identified these people from all around. Maybe there's even some new work-based friendships that are coming up out of this, right? Yeah, you're in a better position than when you first started. And if you didn't start that comms channel, definitely do it now, because if you didn't need it for the groundswell, you definitely need it for going wider than the groundswell to the interdisciplinary wider company involvement. So you might even find that there's a new level of meaning that you can bring to your work. What's your why? People often say that maybe this is new. So in the imagery now, as the boulder's being chipped away at, maybe there's some crystals in there that no one could see. So this is just sort of referencing, hey, could you bring more meaning to people's work? And if you explain that to them, you might even get more people on board, right? Are you finding meaning in your day-to-day work? I've got an idea that you may not have thought of that could help you with that, So that's just another tool that you've got for that sort of recruiting phase, if you want to call it that. Yeah, so during this stage for us, a bunch of colleagues of mine sent out that wider company survey. So from the groundswell, sending out a survey wider to check for current skill levels, current level of interest. Do you want to be invited to things that we're running? That kind of thing. And if you can get responses, now instead of just focusing on messages, you can actually set up these events and invite specific people who have already identified they're keen. And that makes it easier for you to run those events, right? Excuse me, I'll just take a quick. Yeah, it's also good to know that people are coming and going from your organization. You may need to repeat things for people to be hearing it for the first time. Just repeat it up. Everyone's busy, everyone's at different meetings. And try to get, if you run a session, see if someone at that session can run that session for other people. Try to sort of pass it on. It takes a while to get people the confidence to do that, but that's worth it. This is a big one. On the screen now, we've just got a range of people sitting in front of the Boulder. This is just representing all the different people at your organization, different roles. So my big tip maybe of the whole talk is identify your toughest internal audience from the start and think about their perspective. What do they need to get on board? You're not just talking to people who already think like you, because otherwise it would be much easier. Just make all the points that convinced you and you'd be done, right? You need to think about who everyone is in your organization, what they need to do to get on board. So for me, that was more like the commercially driven product owners, people under a lot of commercial pressure to make sure their teams are efficient, delivering products, and they're measuring results and seeing commercial outcomes, right? It won't be true for everyone. And we've also got less legal backing to rely on. We've got Discrimination Act, but not like really strong accessibility laws that we can rely on. So we really have to focus on helping people see opportunity. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I say anything that you think is wrong, come and talk to me afterwards. I love to learn, especially with my language, which I'm still working on. Yeah, so if you do this, you won't be so surprised when you're giving a talk and someone says, hey, and challenges you on something not being commercial or whatever it is for you, whoever your toughest audience is. When you get challenged, you're like, oh yeah, I've thought about that and this is what I think. Let's talk about this and that from this perspective, you know, rather than being caught off guard and, oh, I didn't think about that. And then everyone in the room is like, see, it's not a commercial, like, really good idea. Yeah, so for me, it was the product owners prioritizing a large group of things on a backlog, what's going to be on the board and what's not. It's easier to get designers, developers, testers on board, so don't necessarily just focus on that. Yeah, what else could you do at this point? You could get real users in and show people how actual people can't use their products, right? It's more meaningful coming from people who are affected than it is from you, an intermediary, just passing on information, or hypothetically saying, oh, some people might experience it like this. Make it real for people. Yeah, so step 4 takeaway is use that groundswell support that you got together to take things to the next level and identify that toughest internal audience. Who is that for you? What do they need to get on board? How can you see it from their perspective? We'll talk about the commercial side of things more as we go because that's my one. Yeah, so stage 5, the importance of involving users early. So that would be specifically people living with disabilities early on in your usability testing and whatnot. Yeah, we've learned just as much from failure as from our successes here. So I'll start with the successes. Our best win is our UX research team got a whole bunch of people together that identified as living with disabilities. And we just did general interviews. It wasn't task-based research. They came in, we went to their homes, and it was just how to use technology, maybe how to use TradeMe, and we sort of let the conversations go as they were led. Yeah. So in the future, we want to move into more usability testing, but that's something in the future. I don't want to talk about things we will do, but we're here to learn about that, and we're planning on implementing that. And that's also part of our big fail, like specifically from me. I remember being in a position where I was saying, oh, we're not ready for real usability testing yet because there's so much we know is wrong. And I was thinking at the time, this is like we're building a building and there's no doorways, let alone ramps. There's no front of the building, let alone handrails, you know. We can't have someone come in and it would be disrespectful of their time, I was thinking, to come in and tell us such obvious things. But in hindsight, that was my big fail because it's taken us, by the time I thought we were ready, it's taken us a long time to actually get the budget ready, get things sorted to take it to that next stage. So I wish I hadn't thought like that. And we were just hearing in a workshop the other day, people don't mind coming in. If they can point out really obvious flaws, at least you're involving them. So just do it early, and that's going to, don't wait. So takeaways from this: engage users as early as possible, as everyone says all the time. Don't wait with we're not ready. That was my big fail. do the general interviews. It's a good, easier place to start. You don't even need anything ready. Yeah, and go early, but don't rush. There's the risk of putting your foot in it quite easily. And I know the stories of other companies that have. So like, do what you can when you can, but consult. There's lots of great people around to help. Reach out before you go wide with communication and avoid unintentionally disrespecting people, right? So step 6, supporting people in various roles. I'm going to start whipping through, but yeah. So we've heard about this in the last talk as well. But so some quick tips on what that might be for me. And this step is really about, hey, just because you're a designer, don't just think of it as a design thing. Or just because you're a developer, don't think of it as a development thing. And then don't just think, oh, if it's not just dev, it must be dev, design, and test, right? We want to get product owners involved. We want to get commercial managers involved. We want to get everyone involved. Yeah, so the more obvious places to start are probably within your one role. But then, especially if you're taking on a champion role, it's your job to help other people see how they could be involved when it's not obvious to them and maybe not obvious to you yet. Yeah, so you could think of people who are prioritizing the backlog or people who are helping to define the scope of a case, right? We need all these people on board. Hopefully that's the whole team doing those things, but often there's someone in charge of that backlog. Yeah, so people in various roles may have only heard about accessibility in other contexts. Oh yeah, I know about that, that's a front-end thing or that's a design thing. And they may be a product person that's thinking that, right? Because they haven't heard about it from their peers. So you can help them to understand. We'll cover a couple of examples from my land. So let's talk about these product and commercial managers again. So on the screen, we've just got a bunch of different people again representing those roles. So what are they all about? They're looking for opportunities to solve user problems and looking for commercial opportunities, right? So how can you use that perspective and come at them with things to help them broaden how they're thinking about things to include accessibility and how accessibility could help them to see new things that they weren't there before. Yeah. So we've got a property company. We had a hack day, which is a great thing to do. Some team came up with the idea of if we just show which properties have accessible access, physical access, we could save people days of driving up to the property and then finding out they can't actually get up some stairs that are on the way, you know? And so they did actually implement that. We haven't got it out the door yet, which is a classic example of how that stuff goes, because it was a hack day thing, you know? So you've got to get that into real sprints and make it part of normal work, not just special one-off days. But those are still good. You just have to, get the long-term results. I came across a quote, which some of you might be aware of. We've got a few New Zealanders here. So I read this quote saying, hey, getting more Kiwis with disabilities into jobs could add 1.45 billion to NZ GDP. So this was based on a report commissioned by the Blind Foundation at the time. They're now Blind and Low Vision New Zealand, I believe. This was 2017 though. And so that got me thinking, well, we've got a jobs business. How could we support this change? How could we be part of this? Like, can we help commercial managers to see this as not just work that's in progress, but work that could be in progress later? Could we increase our job listing revenues while also helping to stimulate the economy, which would lead to advantages in our general goods categories, right? As well as improving people's lives by helping people get jobs when they're like having a hard time. So all I'm trying to say is that for product and commercial folks, they could be finding more value by learning more about inclusive design, accessibility, all of these things. Don't just keep it to yourself in your discipline. Cool, I've got 3 minutes and I'm just going to keep cranking. So if you're in grooming and requirements gathering, if you're in that room, just shout it out, be like, oh yeah, we're just about to size, but hold on, can we just talk, assuming that keyboard functionality is included in this, we have to consider that we're going to might need a bit of extra time for that, or hey, are there already existing components that have got the ARIA patterns we need or the screen reader support that we're using, or we're going to have to do that thinking as well because that's going to affect the size of our case perhaps. Like just assume it's part of the work and help others to think of it like that too, right? Because if you don't do that, people are going to say, oh, well, that's out of scope because we didn't talk about that in grooming. That can be a follow-up case which is going to die on a backlog and never see the light of day. So don't let people get away with that stuff for too long. You know? You want it part of daily life. And that's one of the sessions that's coming up, but I may run out of time for that. So initial design phases, as we just heard, that's the cheapest time to make changes, right? So get yourself in the mix early on. Even if it's not your role to, just be like, hey, if anyone's got designs that they want to run past me, I can point out some things and that'll save you a bunch of time and money later. Help people early in the process. It's that whole shift left idea we were hearing about. Help designers understand it's not just color contrast. How about your spatial models? Where does the modal come from and how fast does it move in and out? How are animations making people feel queasy? People are keen to learn. Just help them learn. So we haven't even got into anyone that's writing code yet. So think about all the other people you might be missing out if you're just focusing on, is this finished product? Does it need some band-aids? You want to go early and make awesome stuff. So regardless of people's roles, we all have something to contribute, as we've heard, and help those people to see it that way. Sorry, so in the imagery, we've got more and more people carrying off these rocks in these baskets. So step 6 takeaway, supporting people in various roles. If you can do that, then we all win, right? Don't limit your efforts to design, dev, test, or whatever you happen to identify with, because you need that wider buy-in. So step 7, really quickly, moving from follow-up work into having it part of your daily life. It's gonna be a hard journey, right? Don't expect this stuff to happen overnight. So just think about, celebrate the wins that you do have and use that to keep you motivated. This is a long journey. We're having some success with this, but it's not like all teams are moving at the same pace. You'll have teams that pick things up earlier and become like champions themselves. You have individuals that get passionate earlier and start to grow it out like that, right? Reflect on how far you've come and stay motivated. Because even I'm still thinking, this is such a big task. It's still go back to the big boulder sometimes, So now in the imagery, we're seeing what the rocks have been slowly turning into something over on the left here. So I've heard it said that if you want to grow flowers, you don't just focus on flowers. You focus on dirt and water and soil quality and these things, right? So how does that relate to this? Like, do you just have to focus on the end result, or can you think about growing that environment of education around your workplace? Once people know what to do, it's easier for them to do things the right way the first time. But you have to teach them that over a long period of time before they are actually in that empowered position. And try to offer that support really early in the process. I'm just wrapping up now. So in the imagery, we can see that the rocks have assembled to be some kind of bridge that's helping people get over some kind of barrier. So we've transformed that really big, overwhelming rock. We've worked together with other people, chipped away at that rock into smaller, manageable pieces, and carried it away and transformed it into something that's helping other people. So that last takeaway there was just focus on education and give support to others as early as possible. And that's the conclusion. So by this point, you've started, at least, to make real positive change within your workplace, and you haven't done it as a one-person thing. You've used your energy to energize others. So I really hope that this will help you on your journey when you get back to work. And you're very welcome to repeat this talk, use the slides and repeat the talk in your workplace if you feel like that would be helpful. Thanks a lot for your attention. Appreciate it.